Welcome back, everyone, to episode 12 of the Nimbus Tattoo podcast. You are now all manually breathing, and you are aware of your tongue. Suffer through that one.
No.
I'm joined with the...
I hate you, bro.
Fuck, now I'm manually breathing.
Yeah, dude.
Shit.
That's good.
I'm here joined by the ever-talented, ever-handsome Mitchell. Mitchell, what's your at?
Tattoo breakfast.
Thanks. I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, Chris. Chris, what's your at?
Chris House _tattoo.
I'm here with the maid, the myth, the legend, Ashley. Ashley, what's your at? That got her.
Come on, come participate.
Come on, you can do it.
Reach.
I'm trying.
Come on, Ashley. Come on, get.
You can do it. Hold on, we'll come back to it.
Ashley
Oh
Brooks
my
666.
I was gonna say bean burrito, but I couldn't.
Bean
think of a
burrito.
number.
Bean Burrito 69.
Yeah.
The second most handsomest apprentice this side of the lower metro Atlanta area, Josh. Josh, what's your at?
Opinionated otaku.
Big John's here. John, what's your at? We'll plug you this week.
Johnny M. Mond.
That's him. And then, once again, the most handsome, the most funny, the most charismatic, just the strongest apprentice this side of the lower metro Atlanta area,
Hey,
Michael at Oh Crap Mike.
I'm willing to test that out.
You want to lift shit?
Yeah,
Damn.
let's. I'm doing. Yeah.
Well, we can do
We
it.
can
Let's-
B-roll
I'm
it,
down.
and
Let's
I
do
will,
it,
we will
yeah.
lift weights.
Okay, let's do
All
it.
right.
You look like some kind of psycho preppy kid with your two apprentices in the backyard.
We're in. No, dude, like
Uncles, no. Get out of there.
I'm very all about like.
Hold on, I'm going to crack the door so she can get out.
Okay, do it.
She's free. She's making me nervous. You going to pee? What are you doing?
Anyway, I'm very all about like challenges. That's why I get to slap Mitch.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which, by the
God.
way, we are still taking submissions for that.
Oh my
Um,
God. I can't believe people are out here really like. I don't know. Like when we made the bet, I thought it was just going to be a very passive thing. It's like, oh, you get to slap me if Zelda comes out. Now we're like involving like hundreds of people I don't know.
I
There's,
told
like, a
people like
production
we can get
team.
cameos. I was like, yo,
Yeah, this
have
is like
do a video call with
this
Wade and
is
he's on a
so-
supercomputer. I was like, get something.
It's so far beyond what I was like anticipating.
But you also probably should have anticipated that because I was involved.
That's true. Also, Josh, good job with that video the other day. I was very much
It's good.
I just went, Josh, can you
appreciate the
meme this
effort.
up? And he was like,
yeah.
yeah.
I tried to make it as bad in a good way as I could.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was. Yeah.
My favorite part was it said anime tattoo community, and there's just a big X and just tattoo community.
Yeah. I like the inspirational music.
Nah,
That was really good too.
Yeah.
for me. It was the top bumper.
Oh, of the person getting spanked.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was like two
The
beers,
funny
right?
part about that is I didn't mean to put that in there, but then I was trying to put it.
I made that a thumbnail because I thought that was the thumbnail.
No, so I tried to put that I was trying to put that as a transparent GIF like somewhere else in the video, and it wouldn't move from the front of the video. So I was like, you know what? It kind of works.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
That makes it.
We do get to slap Mitch's cheeks. We did not specify
Hey,
which
yeah.
cheeks.
That is true.
Honestly,
fair,
that was
man.
like my favorite part of the video.
I-
I'm
Same.
so glad.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
what
I
does
was like,
Bob
this is
Ross
the
say?
thumbnail.
Happy accidents
Yeah.
worked
I was
out.
like, this is it.
Yeah, so for those of you listening, if you did not know, Chris is going to slap the hell out of me because I trusted Nintendo to put out a game this year, even though I should know better at this point.
It's even more fitting that's called Tears of the Kingdom.
And
I'm
the
a-
tears.
R.I.P. the Queen.
I'm gonna make Mitch cry.
Oh, man.
Love you, Lizzie.
But,
Tears,
nah,
tears of the
dude.
Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of just stuff that's going on right now, not too much. We're just tattooing. Anime Ink is coming up soon, so I got my
Yeah.
banner ordered. Josh made it, which is cool.
Shouts out to
I'm
Josh.
stoked on that. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
It's pretty
cool.
mid.
Yeah,
Damn, bro.
Did you
Yeah, I'm sure it's just better.
yeah. Mitch is coming.
I am
Yeah.
Hell
So,
yeah, on our
uh,
faces.
Yeah, so if
Wait.
you want to book with Mitch, then hit him up.
Give him so much money.
Yeah,
Yeah, please.
pay his bills.
Hook me up.
I'm
Hey.
also offering my maid services.
Nice.
Sick.
I'm not.
We saw My Chemical Romance this week.
We did. That was really cool.
Shout out to My Chemical Romance. Bigger shout out to 100 Gex.
That's what I was
God,
about to
dude.
say.
No,
They
that's
were-
gonna be my
you.
celebrity hate today.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
we'll circle back.
Okay.
Because, God.
Yeah, but the show was good. My cam was super, super good. We got some cool merch. I got this cool hat. It's cool. Yeah, but I think our big topic of the day is going to be what is the difference between pulling inspiration from other tattoo artists versus pulling a, how am I going to phrase this? Someone help me.
What's the difference between paying homage to something and actually ripping something?
Yes.
Copying.
Okay. Yeah. There's a fine line. But
Fine line, black and gray.
God.
Sometimes with some pink.
All right, we'll come back.
Yeah, we'll come back. But yeah, a lot of the time, like, you just kind of know it when you see it.
Off the rip.
I know.
Damn, shots
But
fired.
honestly, like, whenever you're learning a new style, you take a lot of inspiration from artists that you really like. And I think early on when you do that, it's pretty apparent, like, who you're pulling from. And the more tattoo artists you're around and the more inspired you are, like, you drift further away from, like, what you were initially inspired by, which I think is good, right? So, you know, when I first started doing anime tattoos, I looked up to, you know, people like Mike and people like Simon K. Bell and, you know, like the obvious ones that people always look up to. And over time, like, especially with having, like, a lot of guest artists at the shop and, like, making more friends, you start learning other things. Like, we had a lot of black and gray artists around, and I learned a lot from them that I apply to my tattoos, which is stuff that, like, you wouldn't normally use a bunch of black and gray techniques in your color tattoos. But I do all the time. So it makes my stuff look different than everyone else's. But, like, for example, we have a friend, Russell.
Shouts
He
out to
got
Russell.
blatantly ripped off, bro. It
Yeah.
was like...
Honestly, though, it was the best pot. Like, it was so good.
It
Like,
was fantastic.
Yeah.
So there's a guy, there's the tattooer. I don't remember his name. Plus, I'm not trying to blast him anyway. Like, he already got.
Everyone go report that.
He got
page.
enough flack for it already. But he has a bunch of followers that are bought already, which you can tell. You know, if someone has like 30K on Instagram and they're getting 30 likes.
Yeah, look at a profile, just for the record. It's really easy to tell when somebody bought the likes on it.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, bought the followers on it.
yeah, bought the followers. You can bought likes too. But
Yeah.
look at the comments if it's like cool or nice or
Yeah.
super. It's
Yeah, and they're like a bunch of like just farm accounts. It's super easy to tell. But yeah, dude had like 30 plus K on Instagram, getting 30 likes on all his tattoos. And Russell done this Kakashi tattoo. And if you're familiar with his work, it's very, very distinct. He uses every color in the rainbow for almost every fucking tattoo. And there's like no hard lines in it. And it was a Kakashi with his hand, like with his fingers up. And you would think, okay, that's just a reference anyone would use if you do anime. But the way Russell particularly tattoos, it's so specific. This dude copied his tattoo and then flipped it the other direction, which is fantastic because one of his eyes is fucked up. So now it was on the wrong eye. And then he had the leaf symbol on his headband and it was backwards.
Yeah.
And he just straight ripped it off. And it looked like complete
Like,
trash.
If he had done it the right way, it still would have been like a lesser version of the tattoo in
Yeah.
every conceivable way. Like the lines were like shaky, nothing was packed well. It wasn't like everything about it was just like horrible. The color choices were like slightly like just like a little too far
They're a
in like
little
certain
off.
directions. Yeah, and it's just better that he did that poorly and then flipped it.
Oh, yeah.
So
Dude,
it's
so, like,
Flipping it is the icing on the cake.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
great.
And like Russell sent it to me and he knows how I am. Because like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to comment on it.
Yeah.
Fuck it, right?
Yeah.
And Russell's too nice, you know? Because Russell just blocked
Poor
in.
Russell. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck no.
Oh, he did put on a story.
Well, in a different way.
Yeah.
So what I did is I commented on it, and I was just like, damn, bro, you didn't even try to hide the fact that you copied Russell. And I tagged Russell in it. And Mitch was like, damn, bro, he's like, you couldn't be bothered to draw it, nonetheless flip it. And I was like texting Russell, and Russell was like, bro, all I did was like Google a photo of Kakashi, like he couldn't have done the same thing. And he was like, apparently he don't even have Procreate, bro. He's like, I can Venmo him $10 so he can just get Procreate. He's like, if that'll make it easier. It was good. It was a whole thing. But that is like a direct, like that dude just straight copied Russell,
Yeah.
which is not okay.
No. The same thing happened to Mars last week.
Did it?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Somebody did the exact same tattoo but just flipped it.
Yikes.
So
And it was horrible.
It's
once
YouTube
again.
copyright rules. If you flip
Yeah,
it,
you just
you
flip it.
can't
It's
get
fine.
claimed.
So
But it was
like
that thing was beat.
for like me with this kind of stuff, like people do talk a lot about like ripping somebody off. Like Chris said, it's really obvious when somebody does actually rip someone else off. But anime tattoos are weird because you're already pulling from like reference. So like that Kakashi, like Russell did not draw that necessarily from like scratch. He probably used it from the show or the manga, which you should do.
Yes.
Because like, I mean, there are some artists, like I think Simon K. Bell like pretty much draws his from scratch probably. He's probably still uses reference of some kind, but like,
Yeah.
but you want the character to look like the character, not like your version of the character, unless somebody asks for that. But like, generally people want it to look like Goku or whatever. So,
Well, you're doing a portrait.
right, exactly. Yeah, if you're doing a portrait, so like that's where people sometimes get like sort of like mad when somebody says that someone ripped them off. It's like, oh, well, you like,
It's all fan art, man.
yeah, it's fan art, bro. But
Yeah, but it's like so I'll give you a good example. So like I did a Rengoku like a while back, right? And JP did a Rengoku, and it's the same reference, right?
Yeah.
But I wasn't like, damn, bro, what the fuck? Because like I know the reference.
Yeah.
You know, like, and we did different things, but like I added katakana to it, and I added fire to it, and he also changed stuff about it too. So it's like we used the same reference, but we did it in different ways. So that's totally fine. But it's when somebody looks at the stylistic choices you made in your tattoo, and then they just straight copy those.
Yep.
Right? So it's not about people using the same reference. It's about taking the things you specifically like sauce your tattoo with and just going, oh, I'm gonna steal that sauce.
That's fine.
I would also like to point out that there's sort of like an interesting, like to me, it's interesting that people choose to do that because like the way that Chris tattoos, right? Not that like I would do this because I do black and gray, but like if somebody came in and was like, bro, I'm trying to get that exact tattoo that Chris did on my homie, and be like, all right, word, like I'm not gonna tell Chris, I'm just like come in on Tuesday and like I'm gonna just slide in and like do the same tattoo.
He's not gonna check
and
the
like
cameras.
I
like,
tried
run
to
the
do
shit.
the same tattoo. Like I watch Chris tattoo all the time, so like even me being around him and stuff, if I tried to do the same thing that you do, it would not look the same at all. And like it's like you're always going to have like a lesser like if you're just copying something, it's always going to be a lesser version of the thing that you're trying to copy. Because anybody that's better than the person wouldn't be trying to copy them to begin with.
Well, it's interesting though, because even if, like, let's say I did something, right, and then you like completely copied it, there's a chance that certain areas of the tattoo you do might look technically better than what I did, right? Let's just say like we're doing a hypothetical.
Okay. Yeah.
Hypothetically.
So even if like those things are like hypothetically better
Hypothetically.
in the rip-off of the tattoo, the original is still better because it's original. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a level of style that everyone puts into their tattoos. Like I said, like with Russell, he doesn't use like any line work. He uses every color in the rainbow. Like if someone was like, damn, I'm just gonna try to tattoo just like Russell, like they're gonna fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope
Because
you got that one needle, and I hope you got 6,000 colors. Have fun.
Well, there's
there-
a level of consistency.
yeah, and there's like a
Yeah.
level of like flair that everyone adds, you know? And it's not even necessarily something that like can be taught or like ripped off. You know, like you could try your best to copy it line for line and like color for color, but like it's still gonna look off.
Yeah, what makes like one artist different from another, I think, is like a combination of those things. Like everybody's palette is a little bit different for one, like which is one of the reasons why the guy trying to copy Russell is so funny, because like Russell's is really bright. Like anytime someone's like, "Oh, I love Russell's tattoos," it's because they're like, "Oh, it's like Technicolor and like
Yeah.
has all
Yeah,
these,
I was
like,
gonna say
bright-"
what makes it so obvious that is a ripoff is he used colors that no one else uses for Kakashi.
It was less subtle. It
Yeah.
was like it was way too. It's like if you cranked the saturation
Yeah.
up on it like too high,
Right.
and there wasn't like enough contrast, and the lines were bad. So it's like all these like little things that Russell does really well. If you take one of those things and put it in a vacuum and then do things slightly different, it doesn't work. You know.
Yeah. But paying homage to things are fine. You know, like I said, especially early on when you're learning and you're developing your style, like you learn through replication and you learn from like copying and not ripping off, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, I've seen like early on, like someone like Wade, right? It's like Wade does a ton of stipple, and I watched the way that Wade did stipple, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, can you show me how you do that? Because like we did a collab together, and I learned a lot about it, and so I started using that in my tattoos. It's like I'm not ripping weight off by doing stippling the way that he would, because like eventually like you learn it from the person, then you do it differently.
Yeah.
Same thing with Chris Rogers. Like I learned like how he did his backgrounds. I think it's really cool, and then I took that and I changed it, but it's the same principle, right? So I'm not ripping him off. Like I'm like learning from it. So
You learn and adapt.
yeah, because like for example, I did a no face tattoo right after Chris Rogers left, and the background is a lot more similar to how Chris Rogers showed me how to do it.
Yeah.
But if you look at the tattoos I've done in the last month, the backgrounds are way different and don't look anything like it. But I learned the principle of how to do it from him. So you do learn a lot from like copying and like paying homage and like gathering inspiration from other artists. But there's a fine line. But the biggest thing is get the artist's permission.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, I feel like it's cooler, obviously, to be like, yo, I love this specific thing that you do. I want to try and like implement that a little bit in my work. You know what I mean?
I think that gets weird, in my opinion. And like the stuff we're talking about here for like people that are listening, like there are not a lot of like hard to find like rules for any of this stuff. Like some of it is just like you feel like maybe somebody got a little too close to somebody's way of doing something or something like that. But like stippling, for example, is an interesting thing for me because that's just like an element of how it's sort of like being like nobody has a like a license on color blending, right?
Yeah.
That's just like
Nobody has the
element.
copyright on it.
Right. And like Wade is not the first person to do stippling, you know? And the person that Wade learned it from was not the first person to do stippling. And it's like, so like elements like that, when people are like, oh, well, you did it just like this person does. Like Cody Ellis, I think he's probably one of the best people in terms of like how smooth his like gradients are and stuff like that. He's just really, really, really clean, and like I like his work for that reason. But that element, for example, like I think one of my other like favorite people, like content wise, would be like Alan Grimmon. Like his work is really good, but the way that he does stippling is like way different. So it's just like how they apply these principles. But some people do take it, I think, too far, where they'll be like, oh, well, you're also doing, like, you're using the same technique in the same way. And, like, that gets weird. So,
yeah, I think, honestly, the reason I say, like, ask the artist is because if you're heavily inspired by somebody, right, there's a fair chance that, like, you can find a way to talk to the person. And if you can, like, most artists are really chill about it, you know, as long as you go about it in the right way. Like, I have so many people who talk to me on like live streams. Like I just did a live stream and people are asking me like how I do certain things or why I do it. I'll just tell you. I don't care. Because like realistically, like you can try to do it the same way I do it, but like it's not going to look the same.
Right.
You know, like, which is fine. And that's not me trying to be like, oh, like my shit is just better.
Right.
Like it's just realistically, like we were taught differently how to tattoo. We apply things differently. You can know exactly how to do it. Doesn't mean you're going to do it the same way.
yeah. Even like you and Russell, for example, like people always ask, what, like, Chris, what needle grouping are you using? Or like, what's your machine at? Or like, whatever, just like any number of things like that. Like, like Russell and Chris do a similar style, like it's like full color anime portraits and stuff, but they look dramatically different. And the way that they do them is totally different. Like Russell's like, yeah, I'm just gonna use like 2 needles, like a psychopath. Like I love Russell, but like,
It's gonna take a while, but
it's crazy.
we gonna get that shit in there.
Yeah.
But that's why his stuff looks like that, because that's how his brain works, and like your stuff is set up a certain way. Like Chris, if there's anything to learn about Chris, he thrives in structure. So like he's got like this system down, I feel like, for how you like approach things.
Definitely.
Which is why his stuff works, though, I think. You know, like if you were to do it like Russell, you'd be like,
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, you'd
If you
die.
Chris is sitting there with a 5-liner, just like, okay.
if I had like Russell's stencil, right, and Russell had my stencil, and we literally just like swapped. Like if I set everything up and drew the tattoo, and then Russell did the same thing, and we flipped, we could not do each other's tattoos.
Y'all would be so lost, man.
I would love to see Chris on a coil.
Like Chris has used a coil. He knows.
Yeah,
what he's
but like we tattoo so fundamentally differently. You know what I mean? And like if Russell had to use my color palette, he would be lost. If I'd used Russell's color palette, he would be lost.
That shit's bananas.
Like I've seen the colors he uses, it doesn't make logical sense to me.
When Russell pulled out that tackle box,
Oh,
and he was just like, "Here you go, guys. I got all this." And he opens it up. It's so much. I'm like, "What the fuck is happening?" He's like, "I'm gonna use every single one of these."
Bermuda
and he does.
blue.
That
Yeah,
Bermuda
so
blue.
Russell uses a color that everyone else pretty much
Fucking
unanimously
Bermuda
thinks is
blue.
the worst color ever produced on the face of the planet. And Russell's like, that's my shit.
Dude, I don't even do really like full color anime tattoos anymore. I've got like 2 of them still on my calendar, but I did one not that long ago, and like it was like fine, but there was like sections of it that were just like packed with Bermuda blue and some other color. And I told Chris, I was like people asked, like, do you ever get like nervous tattooing anymore? And I'm like, nah, not really.
That bottle
But
of Bermuda blue.
dude, I was packing it and it like was not going in. I felt like I was in like an anxiety attack. Like I was like, we were just hours in this tattoo, and like the dude is, I mean, I could tell he's burnt. We're probably like 7 hours in. I'm just trying to like, like just please go in.
Please,
Like,
please.
I'm begging you, just go in a skin. And like Russell's like, bro, I love that color. He even sent me a photo. He like, because we were talking about it, and he shot me on Instagram this photo of one of his tattoos. He's like, yeah, that whole section's Bermuda blue. And I was like, you're insane. Like,
I
It
tried
doesn't
to
make
I
sense.
tried to fuck with Mitch on God Country Horse because we were like, let's make the eye blue. I was like, only if it's Bermuda blue, and he was like, fuck that.
I did it.
Yeah, because we wouldn't use the Bermuda blue. We used Miami blue.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just, it's like paying homage to things though is totally fine. You know, like I said, I've taught people how to do certain things, and they'll like implement it in their tattoos, or like I can tell, like I can look at someone's tattoos and know who they're inspired by,
Yeah.
and that's okay, you know. And you have some artists who aren't really, they don't take inspiration from anybody. They literally just do their own thing completely, which I think is cool too. I personally like to be inspired by other people because I might see something in a tattoo. Like for example, like I've seen tattoos that like everyone focuses on like one element of it. They're like, oh, this is the coolest part. But I'll like see like something small somewhere in the tattoo, like that's like kind of like pointless. I'm like, I like that. I'm gonna try to figure that out. And that's how I get better. Like I find like small things to like to nitpick, to like try to like challenge myself on.
your tattoos, I think, like in my opinion, have gotten, like they were already good, but I think they've gotten way better in the last like 3 months because we've had guest artists come out, and
Yeah.
I've seen you pull, like we were talking about elements, like it's not like stippling is like what he pulled from somebody, but like he'll pull like tiny elements from like someone will show him how to do something, and like your background's totally different now.
Yeah.
And like I like the way that you're
Way
doing it
better.
now, way more.
Yeah.
You know, or like even like I don't know, the way you're doing like kanji and stuff, like you're sort of like morphing things like a lot more. Like
Mhm.
you're kind of doing some crazy like references and angle, but like they look cool. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't know anybody else that's really doing that.
Yeah, no one's really doing that, and no one's really doing the what I'm doing, the katakana where it looks beveled.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, we were talking about people like ripping people off, but I've talked to Chris about this before. Like anytime that you get to a place where you're doing something really well, like you find your thing,
Yeah.
and you're like, I like love this element, like this is like my thing. Someone will eventually pick that up, and
Yeah.
they should.
Yeah.
Honestly, like if it's a good thing that you're doing, someone will grab onto it. Like, and I know people that are like, I think like the first ones to kind of like try messing with some stuff with like
Mhm.
anime tattoos. Like I was talking to, like Chris Rogers the other day. Like he's been doing this like cool like gold border on stuff. Like
Mhm.
maybe it's like a
Mhm.
blue background
Yeah,
or
shit's
something.
sick.
And, like like everything's just like separated. Really, I was like, that's sick. I don't know anybody else that's really doing that. You know, someone will probably do that at some point. And like people do
Yeah.
like colored borders and stuff. But
Yeah.
like the way it looks.
Yeah.
Well, like we always kind of joke about it. Like anytime like someone or like in our circle figures something out that's like
Yeah.
theirs, we always play the game where we're like, how long do you think it's gonna be before someone steals it?
We were sitting there Saturday, and I was like, "How long do you think somebody does that?" And you were like, "A month."
Yeah, I can go ahead and call openly the things that I think people are gonna bite off of my recent tattoos.
We made a list.
Yeah, which are the streaky backgrounds that
Mm.
look like in between frames. So it's like if it's an action pose, like for example, if you're like Bulbasaur, use like Razor Leaf, and the background's like fucking streaky. Like that's what my backgrounds look like right now. That, the bevel kanji, or the bevel katakana, and the extreme amount of like line variation I've been doing. Like my line work is taking me like way longer because like a lot of people have started like simplifying their like anime tattoos like with the line work, and I've been putting
Because
like
they're going on that Russell route, dude, but no lines,
Yeah.
bro.
And, I've been, tripling down on the amount of line work things
God,
I've
the
been
other
doing.
day, Chris
That
did
piccolo?
that fucking piccolo. I was like, why the?
50
I was like,
lines
why
on
the
the edge
fuck
of it.
did you do this? He's like, nobody else is gonna do it.
Yeah, so but I don't know if it'll be if I would have posted it by the time the episode comes out. But I did a piccolo, and he's doing special beam cannon, and I've seen other people do it piccolo before, but I was adamant. I was like, I'm gonna push this line thing to the extreme. So in anime or manga, when something's zoomed up in or it's intense, and there's all the lines all the way around it to indicate
The motion.
the motion.
Yeah.
I did piccolo like this, ton of lines, and I pulled 100 lines just straight up around him to focus in on it.
Yeah, thin lines.
And Michael walked up, he's like, bro, why?
Yeah, I'm day 2 on a machine. I'm trying to pull a straight line over here, and Chris is like, I'm about to bust 50 of these motherfuckers on this thing right now. Watch this.
Yeah. Chris showed me the stencil, and I was like, yep.
Josh had the
Alright.
stencil,
Yeah.
and I was like, you can't fuck this one up.
Yeah, he's like, just so you know, I'm gonna be really picky about this stencil. I was like, all right, fair enough.
But no one else is really doing that. You know what I mean? So fuck it. If no one's doing it, push it as far as possible. Because I've been making my stuff look super gritty. So it's tons and tons of lines, and then a shit ton of stipple. So yeah, those are gonna be the 3 things I think that people are gonna do. The thing that happened with Russell was Russell decided that he wasn't gonna put hard outlines on hair at all, none. And I've seen so many artists do that now because they think it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it is cool.
So, and I've honestly told Russell this. We were super good friends. I've told him that's one of my least favorite things that he does.
Yeah,
Personally,
yeah.
I think his tattoos are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's personally my thing because I think I like separation things. I like really hard to find separation, but I think for what he's doing, it works incredibly well.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's subjective. Just to be you don't like something.
Yeah. No, that's what I said. It's very subjective. I think it's technically incredibly well done.
Yeah.
But it's just not personally my thing. And I've told him that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, that's fair. Russell's like, I don't understand why you pull so many lines and things. And I'm like,
Russell's like, bro, just sit me down. I'm gonna blend these 2 colors together for 6 hours.
Yeah.
well, it's funny because we're talking about style, right? You want to know why Russell's style is kind of the way it is? It's because he fucked up his hand and he can't pull lines for that long without his hand hurting.
Yeah.
He literally punched a
The
wall
kid's
and broke his
obliterated
hand.
his hand so many times.
So this style comes from necessity. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think he can.
He can, but no,
do it.
he's even told me that when he did Liz's tattoo, he's like, bro, my hand is on fire because it had more lines than what he was used to.
Yeah.
That thing is fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's great though.
Yeah. It was a really good tattoo.
Yo, shout out to Liz. She's fighting the Lich King right now.
Lich
It
King
finally
right now.
came out.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it finally came out.
She's distracted. She's dead.
Oh, damn.
I just
Run it
lost
back.
the raid for her. Run it back.
So really quick, I guess on a slightly different note, I'm gonna bring up what you said earlier. So I talked about Alan a minute ago, and this is just kind of
Shouts out to Alan.
Yeah, shout out to Alan. It's kind of not an inside joke kind of thing, but I like Alan's work a lot. And I've had people message me and just be like, oh, your work reminds me of Alan's or something. And he really isn't somebody that I've necessarily pulled inspiration from. But I remember a long time ago, whenever I was first learning, Chris was like, I want you to find some anime tattooers that you really like. Find people that you like what they do. I think I pulled Cody Ellis. I pulled Allen's. I pulled obviously Simon K. Bell's. I think pulled Mike's, a couple other people's. I was I like this about this one, this about this one, this about this one. And I was saying that I really liked the way that Allen's had a lot of flow and motion and stuff to it. It was not boring to look at. So I started just doing this sort of ink brushy kind of thing, which is not actually really inspired from what he's doing. It's just kind of a different
looks
thing.
really cool.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Mitch also used to do a lot of painting with ink.
Yeah, I actually
So,
before I
makes
was
sense.
before I was a tattooer, I used to do a lot of India ink, not watercolor stuff, but things in that vein. So, but anyway, I started trying to incorporate some of that into my tattoos, and I like the way it looks a lot. And I've said this before to so many of my clients, but I really generally don't like doing color, a pop of color in black and gray tattoos. And one of my clients the other day, she wanted to get Black Lady from Sailor Moon. Unfortunate name. but
Bad name.
Isn't she Dark Lady in the U.S.?
I think it depends on the dub that you're watching, but Generally, that's
No
how I
matter
refer
what.
to her.
No matter what, it's
right.
Chibiusa. Yeah, that's her name. So
Chibiusa.
Chibiusa. So I was doing a tattoo for her, and she was like, she's like kind of a returning client. Like
Shout out
her
her.
boyfriend, we like really like them a lot. She's like, can I just get her some pink? And I was like, yeah, all right. like all right, whatever. And I was trying to think about like how to approach it, and I was like, I'm doing these like brush strokes. It'd be cool to kind of like do a gradient from that. And I'd actually designed another tattoo that same way, like earlier that week, like the black star I was telling you about. Like that was kind of what I did with that one. And I was like halfway through the tattoo. And I'm doing like black and gray with a bunch of pink in it because the character is literally just an anime girl and she's just got pink hair.
Yeah, she's
basically.
literally black dress, pink hair,
that's,
pink eyes.
That's her only defining feature. And she was like, I just want the pink. Like nothing. You don't have to like do skin tone or anything else. So I was like, all right, I'm just doing the pink, like coloring her eyes and like I'm doing some of the brush stroke stuff. And I was like halfway through the tattoo. It's like going pretty well. And Chris is like, you know the comparison people are going to make, right? And I was like,
Well, I walked over and I went, man. I was like, that tattoo is great. And Mitch went, what's the butt?
yeah, I was like, I
What's
could
the
hear
butt?
it. I was
You
like,
could-
you're
yeah,
about
I
to
could-
say
I-
butt.
You
I
heard the
could
wind
feel
of
it,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
What are you about to say?
So I was like, I think it's great, dude. I love it. I'm going to say it because everyone else is thinking the same thing. And I'll say it. Fuck it. People are going to say it looks like Alan shit.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I'm not saying it's designed the same. I'm not saying you're ripping them off. I'm not saying it is close at all. I'm saying that people who are tattoo blind are going to go, this is black and gray that's inky and stipply with only pink. And the only other person who is doing that is Alan. So people are going to go, damn, look at that. Just so you're aware, have that in your mind because someone's going to say it. So just mentally prepare for it. That's all I'm saying. I think it's great.
We literally
Well,
walked around the shop all day going, damn, that's a good Alan.
I know. For context, because I didn't really start with this, Alan has kind of started trying to push this like new style. He's trying to do it, and he calls it pink trash, which it's pretty much black and gray, like the way he's been doing it. But he sort of like does these pink accents, these like hot pink, like just like cut in areas of his tattoo, and it looks pretty cool. And he's kind of the only person that does that. So when Chris pointed that out, I was like, damn, this character would be pink too, you know? So it's just like black and gray with pink. But we were talking about doing like rip-offs and stuff with people. And it was funny that you brought that up because I was like, clearly it wasn't even inspired by Alan. It was literally just a coincidence that somebody asked me for pink and black.
And for the
gray
record,
tattoo.
like, Alan follows Mitch. Like,
Oh
like,
yeah.
we
no,
know each other.
He didn't even say anything to me about it at all.
Yeah. It's like we all know each other.
But there's always that one person that's going to be like,
well, we were.
What's happening?
I got a comment on it because like just a bunch of people that I know are like, oh, like I like the tattoo, like great job or whatever. And Kevin even messaged me about it. Kevin Freese, he like
shout out to Kevin.
yeah, he made a comment and was like, oh, it's cool, man. Like the pink with the black look. Like what are you gonna call it? Like what's the style?
What's the style?
I messaged him back and I was like, yeah, bro. I was like,
Dude,
Chris made
that
the comparison.
comment is, hold on, I'm gonna pull it up.
I
It's
almost
so
was like
funny.
hashtag magenta garbage or
Yeah.
something, but yeah.
I told you. I was like, someone's going to say it. I was like, a tattooer is.
Mitch, you're at 501 likes.
Hey, that's my first time ever over 500.
Dude, I literally called that.
Hey, that's sick,
Kevin went, man, I don't know what we're calling this style, but my eyes need more.
So I told him, I was like, at least one tattooer is going to say something, whether they say it to you or not.
I don't think
it's irrelevant.
I don't think
it's not. It's clearly a joke.
Yeah.
But like, Kevin knows us, so it's fine. But for someone who doesn't know, and like you just have those people who just like to talk shit.
Yep.
I was like, someone's gonna say it, so just have it somewhere in your
Get ready.
brain to just like be mentally prepared for it.
Yeah, but I could see how somebody that doesn't do tattoos might look at something like that and be like, oh, like maybe that's like
Just
a
the
rip
same.
off of like this style or something like that.
That's like
So-
saying, like, Chris is ripping off Mike, or
people have said that before.
Josh
Yeah.
Bovinder's ripping off
be
every
real.
other trad
No.
artist in the
I-
world. There are
I-
people who do it.
Whenever we were originally having the conversation, I directly told Mitch, I was like, bro, people have said that my shit used to look like Mike's for like far less shit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. Mhm.
Because it's character portraits. There's like the glowy things. There's like, there's like elements. Because like I said, I was heavily inspired by him. And I would say now our shit looks like nowhere near similar.
Yeah, you're,
You know what I mean?
you're both are going in two different directions.
Yeah, which I think is great, But you're always going to have those people who make those comparisons. So it's like Mitch wasn't even like directly inspired by Alan, but someone still would be like, yo, you ripped him off.
Yeah.
Even though he clearly didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if somebody had that opinion, you'd be like, all right. Like, I like Alan, so like, okay.
Yeah.
that's fair.
It really doesn't look like.
Oh, I know,
It's-
but
yeah.
it's just funny that
With Alan too, he just.
Mike.
What I was gonna say was with Alan's stuff too, he puts pink in stuff that wouldn't normally have pink in it as well. So
Yeah.
one thing that goes towards that is that your character does actually have
pink.
Yeah.
Thanks, dog.
No, for sure.
Hypothetically, if the character was
we can
blue,
talk about all the. There's so many differences between what you did and what he does. But
Yeah, and I'm not trying to like go into all that. I guess
Mitch
I
is
just-
like,
it was
no,
just
I
a
didn't rip
funny-
him off, but just
Yeah.
It's like I prepared this doc.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
just
have
like
a squint
explain.
longer, and I'm gonna go into detail.
Take Alan's tattoo, just flip it, and like, there we go, good.
Like,
Add a
I don't do that.
splash.
Covered
Just
golden.
a splash of color.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is a fine line. And honestly, there are times where people do mistake like homages for copying. And I don't blame them because like if you're not familiar enough with the style or something, you know, like for example, like let's say you're just some person, you like the anime tattoo community, you're super into it. And you see someone do like a Gengar tattoo and you're like, oh, that Gengar tattoo is sick. And then like a week later, you see like another artist you like post a Gengar and it's like, it looks like the pose is like identical, you know, and you're like, damn, one of these dudes ripped each other off. But like, chances are, bro, there's a fucking Pokemon card out there, and that's the same ass pose that Gengar has.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
if it was posted close together, they probably had already drawn it before that post even went up.
That's another
That's
big thing.
happened before.
So here's
Yeah.
something really interesting, right? So I post things on a 5-day schedule, right? So tattoos that I am posting right now, I did like a month plus ago.
Yeah.
So if someone were to ever make a comment about like that, like with one of my tattoos, right? Like let's say if someone, let's just pick someone. Let's say JP does a Piccolo tattoo, right? And it looks exactly like the one I just did, and he posts it, and then I post mine after. People will be like, "Damn, Chris ripped him up." Like I did it like 2 months ago. Do you know what I mean? Like I just didn't post it. So you do have really weird coincidences sometimes
yeah.
where people just happen to have used a similar reference. They had like a similar idea and they posted it at the same time.
Yeah. There's been a couple times where like multiple big anime artists all decided to post the same character on the same day.
Yeah.
It's like that one week everybody in the shop did Sasuke for 2 days in a row.
Oh yeah.
yeah, that was funny. I mean,
It's like, Mitch, what you doing today? Sasuke? Oh wait, Chris is doing one.
if you're listening to us, like, I want you to kind of, if you have a couple anime tattoos that you're into and you're like one of our listeners, pay attention when Chainsaw Man comes out.
Oh, God.
It's
Like
gonna be
when that
ridiculous.
anime drops, give it like a month,
Yeah.
and you will notice that there's going to be like the same.
Denji's everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny about that is I still get this one claim, which is I was the first more well-known anime tattooer to do a colored Chainsaw Man tattoo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I did it, and then Simon K. Bell did it, which is really cool. But what always happens is when a big anime comes out, you know, people book their appointments 9 months ago,
Yeah.
and like maybe they want a Kakashi then, but man,
Yeah.
they just saw Denji, they want him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They saw Power. They're like,
And
ooh.
everyone else
Power.
is thinking the same shit you're
I
thinking.
love Power, dude.
So
Yo, hit me with
Dude,
that
let's
Power
do
tat,
it.
dude.
I
Can
already
you do a power with little red at the top?
Oh yeah, bro. 100%. Maybe pink, not red though.
Okay.
I've already had, I think, 2 people message me and be like, would you be okay if we changed it to Chainsaw Man? And I'm like, I knew it, dude. I knew when the fall hits, people were going to flip.
Honestly though, that show is gonna have some of the best references.
Yeah, it's gonna be
so
insane.
the art
Oh.
is so good, man.
For the record,
Like,
too, I will say this, because that is on topic. That's okay. If you want to change your idea, like up to 2 weeks beforehand, it is 100% okay. For this reason. If you want something that's popular, and I get to do it when it's popular, that shit's good for me, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So, by all means, if you want Chainsaw Man and there's a sick-ass episode of Chainsaw Man that just dropped, let me know.
There's about to be some really good new reference for My Hero too for this
Yeah.
next season.
Oh,
It's
man,
gonna
dude.
be dope. New Shigarakis are gonna
Oh,
be
dude.
amazing.
And I want to tattoo him
Yes.
so bad.
Dude.
He's my favorite villain.
So, dude, where you, oh,
Dude,
I can't
yeah,
even,
yeah,
I can't, I
don't-
know, I
don't-
can't,
don't-
I'm not saying anything, but
Are we? You guys want to move on to the
Yeah.
questions?
Yeah.
yeah. Where are we at on time, John?
About 20-ish minutes.
Oh,
We got
cool.
20
That's
minutes.
enough time
We can
for
hit
us to cover
one
some.
question.
We'll hit. We'll
we
we'll
can
see.
do a single question.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Loading in.
He's hacking.
Come on.
Let's talk about, while I'm pulling this up, the wolf job picture.
No,
Stop.
that's
No,
not,
just
dude.
move
What
on.
the heck, bro?
What?
Not talking about that.
Everybody
Hold
Google
on.
that.
No, please don't Google
I was like, what are you talking
Please
about?
don't
Alright.
Google that.
Oh, man.
No.
Man.
Can we censor that, John?
Dude, don't censor that.
I've never said.
I've never censored anything in this podcast,
But you're
but
tempted.
I'll do it just for y'all.
No, it's
Time.
fine.
Leave it in, dude. It's
Oh,
so
not
funny.
not even for funsies.
All right, let's talk about ducks.
Okay.
I now know who the person is who asked you about the ducks, and now I find it funnier.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
So there's this guy, okay?
Uh-huh.
I went to Line Creek. It's this place close by where I live, and it's just like a cool like little nature trail and stuff. And there's like 3 ducks. They're just always chilling by the entrance. They're the homies. They're great. We
They're
always
real
like feed them some
What are their
seed.
names?
Huey, Dewey, Louie, dude. What do you mean?
Perfect.
Anyway, we
White bread.
White.
yeah, we always like feed him some seed or whatever, and
Just give him a little bit of seed.
Yeah, some bird
I got that on
seed, dude.
hand, dude.
It's
It's
just like
spread the
whatever.
seed.
Sowing
What do
my
you mean?
seed.
Yeah, get some bird seed. They used to come up in like
Dude.
quacks. Like they're clearly used to people eating.
Where-
So I googled. I was like, what can ducks eat? Like what's safe
Where
to
we
feed
grew
them?
up, there was Swan Lake, which was like a big
I just
park
see Mitch just
where you
like-
could feed
Yeah, man.
ducks and swans and shit. And me and an ex-girlfriend went to the bread outlet. You guys remember the bread outlet
Yeah.
store?
Uh-huh.
You could buy a trash bag full of day expired bread for $5, and I was chucking whole ass loaves of bread at these swans.
Aren't you not
Turns out
supposed
that's-
to?
Turns out, yeah, you're not supposed to do
Their
that.
stomachs will like explode.
That's why I said I googled what was.
And
said.
I was
So,
fucking just like, here, have a whole thing of Captain Durst bread.
Yeah.
Eat this shit. So the birdseed thing is a good Google.
So I'm out there like a Disney princess, like throwing stuff
I
for the
love that.
ducks.
Throwing
And
seed.
I took I took a photo of them and I put it on my story and I was like, yeah, like duck content for you guys. I did that like a couple times in a row. And there's this guy that I've never even tattooed him. Chris has tattooed him and he follows me. And he messaged me and was like, yes, more duck content. And
More
like
ducks.
so I started like I started like posting more of it. And like now he like sends me these like duck reels like it's like once a week. And I'm just like, all right, you know, like I guess that's like the dynamic of a relationship.
I
And we
love
went I went to Florida with Chris to get his neck tattooed. We're in the parking lot. There's ducks walking around. I was like, dude, I gotta get a video of those for I gotta get a video.
Yeah, so
for
when we
him.
walked over, and there's like this couple trying to get like stuff into the back of their SUV, and like the dude's taking his shirt off, and Mitch is just taking a video of the ducks behind them.
I had to, man. I was like, they're just chilling. They're great, man. They're like walking around the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up with the ducks.
Yeah, okay. That was a question that we were asked.
If you're listening, you improve my day every single time you shoot me some of those ducks. So I shouldn't say that because now I'm gonna have like several
Dude.
people.
Dude,
shoot
more
me
duck people.
More ducks, dude.
More
But,
ducks.
More
yeah.
ducks. I will continue to
I love
post
it.
raccoons.
Oh,
if
yeah.
Mitch will continue to post ducks.
I love raccoons too.
Trevor will post
love 'em.
otters.
And Trevor will post otters.
Mr. Screen.
All right, we'll make this one quick. We got lost in this one.
Okay.
How do you find references?
Wait, that's
Man,
not.
bro.
I don't think that.
Google.
No.
I don't think that's a short topic, is it? I mean, I don't know.
Chris and I watched a whole episode of Naruto. to look
That's
for
literally
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do that too.
Okay, so I'll say this: it depends, right? If it's a character that is very popular and you're trying to stand out, you got to do more digging.
Mhm.
So like, there are times where like I will watch a show, and I will just like rapid fire like screenshot like if there's like a fight scene, I'm just like hitting it and like screenshotting it to try to find like one in between thing that like isn't fucking terrible. I've looked through reference books, I've looked through like promo art, I've looked at manga, I've looked at like anime. God, I've looked at I've gotten to the point where I've like tried to look up like what
Chris has bought a calendar at a Target once.
yeah. I've also gone as far as to find like what is like the highest grade of like toy that is sold. Like for example, if you're like it's a Gojo, right? I'm like, okay, well like what's the highest grade Gojo toy you can get? Cool. What is the art on the box of that? Do you know what I mean like you can get really specific because like most people are gonna be like Gojo and look at like the first 10 images, but you can dig and you can find some crazy shit.
Chris had me looking up a Big the Cat, and I had to go like Big the Cat Archie comic pose, no other character. Like it was such a specific Google search,
The
and then I still had to
Tanjiro
read 2 books to get it.
the Tundra you did recently is a good example of like, because didn't you say you had a book or something where you got the specific?
Yeah, so I have these books that are like they're like keyframe animation books. So it's like yeah. So Ashley bought me a bunch of them for Christmas and for my birthday.
Hey, you're welcome, Ashley, for helping you pick.
They're very great, and I want to buy more of them. But it's like, so there's like keyframes and in between frames, right? So if the main frame is like a character like this, and then the next frame is this. In between animation is like this motion, right? So like the main frames of it, they're like really high detail drawings. So I have a book of like every high detail frame from like the first entire 2 seasons. No, the first season of Demon Slayer. I have one for like Full Metal Alchemist, and I got like other ones too. So those are really great because sometimes in the shows they'll just zoom up like really far, and this will be like it panned back. And I'll just combine stuff. Like I've combined, because like I do a lot of compositing, right? So like I'll like go the manga for like the katakana. I'll go to like the keyframe books for like the faces, and then I'll like go like the Tundra when I did. The hand pose is taken from season 2, and his fingers get broken. Do you know what I mean? But that's also composited with like the way the sword hilt looks from the book that I had, and it's like you're just like stacking these layers on things, and then you just kind of have to draw on top of it and decide like, okay, like what's in the foreground, what's in the midground, what's in the background, and like layer it. But in one single tattoo, like I might find like I said, like the pose off of like a promotional poster with the face from the manga from like it's so much. It's not just like there it is. Yep. It's like a hunt for like individual pieces that are like at the correct angles. It sucks. It sucks so hard to try to make your stuff like be like distinct from anyone else.
That also goes towards like what we were saying earlier, where you know if somebody's like copied off something. Because I do the same thing. Like I have to do Hiei tomorrow. So for example, for that, like by the way, 90s cartoons, horrible. The worst thing ever trying to find a reference. Like finding action figures or like manga is almost always preferable, like almost always. So like like you get these like composited images and you want them to like line up. And for me, like the way that I typically do stuff is like I will try to get like a really long like narrow shape for like where it's at on the body, and I'll try to find like a shot. Like this is I guess general, but if you're looking for reference, in my opinion, you should never use something that's super wide, because like that's the stuff that people always send to me when I'm like, yeah, like is there some reference that you're like really into, or like some like specific like thing that you're looking for? Someone always sends me some.
I've definitely like, sent you one like that before.
Yeah, and it's like those are cool, but
I'll give you a good example. It's like anytime someone says they want Ryuk, they'll send you Ryuk with the wings.
They want those wings, dude.
Right?
And like I want it on my forearm.
It's
there's
like,
no way.
Shit ain't gonna work.
Yeah. It won't work like that. And like there are exceptions to that. So I'm not trying to be like every single time you should never try to use something wide, because like sometimes it works if you turn it or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, like for me, I always try to find something like long and narrow, and I usually draw over the whole thing, and then I get rid of all the reference and then drop the opacity and I draw it again.
Yeah.
Like just to like clean it up and like reshape everything.
Yeah, we're pretty hard up about like making sure that like things are sourced correctly, so that way it looks like it's from the thing it's from.
Yep.
But then injecting like layers of style into it to where it's not going to look like anyone else. So like for most of our tattoos, like if someone blatantly copied them, it will be super apparent. Like the Tundra one. Like if someone does that shit, bro, you just straight did it. Because like I worked so hard on that thing.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that sets apart the really good anime artists is they don't just take one single reference and copy that. Like they put together a piece. Because that's one of my biggest complaints about my arm is just like it's just stamps of references that I sent the guy. But you know, watching you guys work, and I've seen other artists on Instagram do like lives of their drawing process and like pulling different references and making them try to fit together. So yeah, I think it's a huge deal. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, your other arm's gonna look different.
I can't wait
because I'm doing Josh's other arm.
Oh snap, dude!
And it's gonna be bananas.
I would never get tatted.
Never. Never in a million.
It's so
years.
funny just seeing you like
I'm
sitting
sending
down.
Don't let him
Jeannie the
fool you.
link to the Nimbus Tattoo Podcast.
Don't you dare.
Ooh,
What's she gonna see? My pants?
That's true.
take them
Do
off.
we? How much time do we have, John?
We got time for another one.
Okay.
One more.
One more. Let me find a quick one. We're going. Audio listeners, I've opened my phone.
We have about 15 minutes.
15
Oh, wow.
minutes?
Moving quickly. I was scared we were dragging, so I was trying to like run it.
Do you want to talk about what brought us to Atlanta, or do you want to talk about increasing prices? Do you want to talk about favorite anime from your childhood? What do you guys want to
God, those are all really big topics. I feel like.
Do my question.
do?
Which
John's
one is yours?
question?
Yeah, you can just ask
Hold
it.
on.
You're right here.
Is that a real question, John, or is it a
Yeah,
why is
it's
Michael cute?
It was a
question?
good question.
It's a real
No,
Why is
Josh
Michael
asked,
cute?
why is Michael cute this week?
Oh,
Not
thanks,
quite.
Josh.
If you could tattoo one famous person, who are they, and what are you putting on them?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh.
Don't
What?
forget
The most important
And
part.
where?
And where are you putting it?
I have my answer.
Okay,
Do it,
go
Mitch.
ahead.
I'd pick Ewan McGregor.
Really?
Oh yeah, bro, he got the worst hummingbird, bro.
He's got the
He
worst
needs a
something for.
redemption.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
needs a
Redemption.
redemption, bro.
Yeah,
I
that's
doesn't have to be
fair.
anime, man. I'm
Bring
just
in,
Well, what would you put on him?
Mitch is like
a
a
better
dragon.
hummingbird right next to the ship.
Oh.
You
I'll
want a
put them
you want a
together,
web
bro.
redemption? You and McGregor's
Yeah,
hummingbird.
no, we're getting Daniel Tosh.
Daniel Tosh is going to be in the
Yeah.
shop. He's like, you and McGregor.
Yeah, that'd be sick. I would love that.
A famous person. I don't know if I would want to pick someone who has shitty tattoos like
I
that.
honestly like thought of like three people I thought Chris was going to pick, and then he didn't say
Who?
anything.
Who would you say?
Landon.
Yeah, I'd like to tattoo. Honestly, like, I'd really like to tattoo musicians that I really like. Ones who are like weebs. Like, for example, Cody Ellis got to tattoo Noah from Bad Omens.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is sick. Like, I would love to do something like that. Or, like, Lane and Tours from Plotting You, because they're my favorite band. I like anyone whose music I like, and I would like to do it in just a visible spot. You know, I would like an arm or something, because most of the time musicians have like really dog shit tattoos. So I'd like to just like blast something like super super cool, so it's really noticeable. Yeah, anyone like that I feel would be good.
Heck yeah.
I had another one. That was pretty easy.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad.
Why did we move here? Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're from South Carolina originally. I guess everyone except for Josh.
Hat.
Dude,
Ruined it, man. That was our origin story.
Yeah,
my bad.
I'm just kidding.
We were just a bunch of boys in Ashley from South Carolina.
yeah, it's true.
You say it, Ashley.
And
Yeah.
Ashley, yeah, Ashley was also from South Carolina, which is ironic. But the short and sad answer is like my brother died, and I honestly couldn't stand to live like in that state anymore, because I don't know, it just felt weird. I just needed to change. So I moved to Nashville, and I hated it. It's like the worst place ever. So I went there because I was also playing music at the time. So my band moved from South Carolina to Tennessee. And then after 6 months of being in Tennessee, I was super unhappy. I just didn't want to be there anymore. And I thought that I was going to move to Florida temporarily, which I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
So it was going to be in Tampa because someone in my band had got a job opportunity in Tampa. So I was like, well, I hate it here. So like, I don't really care where I go, just as long as it's not South Carolina. So I went to go check out Tampa, and after less than 12 hours there, I hated it. There's no chance in hell I was going to live there. And I already taken the week off work.
Tampa sucks.
Yeah. So I turned around and started driving straight back. My roommate at the time was with me too. And like halfway through the drive, I was super tired because like it was already like a 17-hour drive to get there, and I'd just done it. And like, so we were like, what's like the halfway point just to stop and like regroup and like figure it out? Because at this point, I'd already put in like my notice on where I lived. So like I had I had 3 weeks to figure out what I was gonna do. So I went and just stopped like outside of Atlanta because years back, one of my friends really liked The Walking Dead, and we went and checked out like where it was filmed. So we were like, oh, like I was like, have you ever been there before? Like I know it's like a small town. I was like, it seems safe enough. because I didn't want to stay in Atlanta because I just don't like Atlanta. So we stopped there, woke up in the morning, and just like went and got coffee, and everything was pretty peaceful, honestly. Just like it was like fall or whatever, and I was really stressed out at the time. And when I woke up, I was like, I don't feel stressed right now. That's good enough for me. Like, I'll just move here. Like, I googled like tattoo shops in the area. Have I not told you this?
No, you told me.
So I was just like, yeah, there's like 6 tattoo shops around. Like, I can find somewhere to work. Fuck it. So I just like went around and like got a bunch of like applications for like apartments. Went back, packed all my stuff. By the time like I was done packing my stuff, I got approved somewhere. I was like, cool. So I just like moved. I moved without having a job. And yeah, after 5 years of working at the shop I was at, just wanted to open up this shop. So that's why I'm here.
Hell yeah.
No particular reason. I never thought in my life I would be the kind of person to just move somewhere random on a whim without knowing anybody. But it's just kind of the way it happened.
That's wild.
For me, I'll keep it short. I've known Chris forever. He's one of my best friends. So he moved here. I was working at a nursing home. I wanted to change because I felt very dissatisfied. I like didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. And I was like, man, I really want to tattoo because I love art and several of my friends do it. It seems pretty cool. So I hit up a bunch of people I knew that tattooed to just like get some information about apprenticeships. Chris hit me back and was like, hey man, come check out Sonoya. It's pretty cool. I drove down here, did a tryout. Unknowingly that I was going to do a tryout. Did a tryout for an apprenticeship. Accepted it. Quit my job and like moved here, and it was a crazy, horrifying, anxiety-filled time of my life. But I'm glad I did it, and I love being here. Way prefer being here over South Carolina. So.
I feel that.
Gang, gang.
Yeah.
Gang, gang.
Gang, gang.
And then yeah, Michael moved here because
Yep. I was dating a lady, and I was in North Carolina, and went kind of south, and I was like, well, I ain't got nowhere else to go. I'm not moving back in with my parents, so I moved in with Chris.
Mitch also lived with me too.
I did.
Yeah, for a
I
while
did.
we were the 3 amigos.
Chris is like the halfway house for
For
apprentices.
apprentices, yeah.
Yeah.
Josh, when are you moving in?
Josh figured it out.
I think we
I've got
lived.
a pretty sweet spot.
I think
Very
we lived
close.
here together for like a month.
A month.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
like
you moved out in
not that
February.
long, yeah.
Mitch was like, I gotta get out of here.
Oh, I was like, absolutely not, bro. I'm just,
No,
We were vibing. We watched Signs one night and cried. It was great.
that's beautiful.
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's funny though because like Ashley is also from South Carolina, and it
That's a
turns
different part.
a different part. But it turns out like we know like a bunch of the same people.
Yep.
So that's actually how we ended up talking because she worked at the coffee shop and asked like for like they like switched over their POS system, so they needed everyone's phone numbers again.
For like the reward.
For the rewards.
Yeah,
programs.
yeah. So she
Josh.
yeah. So she was like, it's like we'd already like known each other,
Yeah.
just like from her working there, and she was like, all right, like, what's your phone number? And I told her the first 3 digits, and she was like, are you from South Carolina? And I was like, yeah. And I jokingly said, oh, you probably know my ex-girlfriend.
No, that is not what happened at all.
It is. I
No,
said that,
it's
and then
not
you
what
knew who it was.
No, it's not what
Here
happened.
we
What do you mean?
Here we go.
Gosh.
Come here.
Okay. Chris has a terrible fucking memory. That or like he just things happen
That
and
did
like
happen.
it like skews and it happens different. But like no, I said, is that South Carolina? Where you're like, yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I said, yeah, I'm from there too. You said what part you were from, Sumter or whatever, and I said, oh, yeah, I lived in Beaufort. And you said, oh, I used to date a girl from Beaufort. And I said, I'm sorry. And you said, yep. And I said, what's her name? And you disclosed her name. And I was like, what? Because I do know her. And the way I know her is also very weird. But then we figured out that you played shows with bands that I was friends with and that I'd likely been to your shows, didn't even know who you were. And it was like 10 years ago. So weird. And then we started talking more, being friends.
It's wild. We'll be sitting there and Ashley will be like, so yeah, so like back in 2009, me and so-and-so, and I was like, fuck, you know them?
Yeah, that happened the other day.
Holy
Yeah,
shit,
it's
bro, I know
very
them
weird.
too.
Yeah, it's very weird. But it's weird because we knew all those people and
But we were
around
all
the same, but didn't know each other.
Never
Yeah.
interacted.
And then all end up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then meet each other.
Yeah, it is interesting though because like we've kind of figured out that I'm pretty sure there's one show. I'm like 90% sure. Like if it was any show, it would have been this one.
Was it at the house?
Well, okay, it's either
There
the,
was a house
yeah,
show.
it's the house, the one where like it was like dense because of all the sweat.
Oh yeah, okay, that was a great night.
Yeah, we're pretty,
I got punched in the eye. I had a black eye. One dude got punched in the chest and passed out.
I don't want to say.
okay, but yeah, we're
That was a good
pretty
But I just
confident.
remember there being a band and not being like it was a very opening band or something. And I was like, damn, this band sucks.
That was us.
No, it wasn't us.
I know that wasn't you guys.
No,
If it was, that'd be funny.
we played third from last. We were not the
And
opening.
there were 3 bands.
No. There's several, but we're pretty sure that because there was a group photo that was taken that like everyone was. It was funny because it was so packed that everyone kind of like knew where they were in the photo, and based off of like what I remember, like Ashley and I were actually standing pretty close together. But
That night was insane.
yeah, but yeah, I don't know.
Word. Well,
Cool.
I think we have a couple minutes left to get to the states and celebrities section.
Fuck 100 gags.
Yes. Oh my
so-
god, bro.
I've been thinking about this since you said at the beginning, but like, if they didn't exist, you probably wouldn't have been able to go to that.
That's
show,
true.
right?
Yeah.
Thank
so-
you 100 gags for the hookup to go see My Chemical Romance.
But like, why aren't
But-
you better if you're opening for My Chem?
I mean, I guess good for them.
Yeah, dude.
Yo, thank y'all
Josh.
for writing that one song that
Yeah.
popped off on TikTok and got me into that show. Thank you.
That's true.
Hit us with the state.
A state?
What state are they from?
Denial.
Whatever state.
Well,
Look up
like,
what state they're from. I got a bone to pick with that. Who let that happen?
It's gonna be
Who put a wizard hat on that white dude and said geckos, bro?
I don't know.
They're from St. Louis, Missouri.
Missouri.
Fuck Missouri.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we ever hit Missouri.
I
So.
don't think so either.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You from?
I was sitting there and I was like, man, he looks like a crystal wizard. And the person in front of me
No, yes.
turns around and goes, yeah, it looks like a lot of meth was going on there. And I was like, yep, thank
Also,
you.
at one point, we always do this thing where, like, whenever we go to shows, like, Michael and I are like, oh, I can't wait to see, and then, like, insert band
Insert
name
band.
here.
So this one
That's
was
not-
Weezer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Michael was like, oh, I can't wait to see Weezer. Or, like, oh, I wonder what Weezer songs are going to play. Or, like, whatever. And, like, the same people in front of us, someone heard Michael say that, but didn't know it was him. And I just saw them go, who the fuck said that?
Oh yeah. Someone
And
got
then
real
the
mad.
person next to them was like, what? And they're like, someone just said they thought that this was Weezer.
I was like, I was in there, man, I hope they play Buddy Holly. And they're
That's
like,
a good song.
what?
Weezer is sick.
I hope they play Welcome to the Beverly Hills.
Hell yeah.
Have you heard my take on Weezer before?
No.
Weezer is a band for like stock white people who think they're edgy.
Hey,
like,
good job, Mitch.
So it's like no. So for example, like
Dang, bro.
have you ever
What the heck?
have you ever met someone who said that their favorite band was Weezer?
Yes.
I don't know that I have.
Mentally, in my mind, if I'm like,
Dude, say it ain't so.
so
They're like
It's a
okay.
great song. Again, like there's some
No,
good
so-
songs.
Josh is the one out here who's like, bro, Weezer is
No,
sick.
listen to
I
this.
like Weezer's fine, I guess.
So in my mind,
I don't understand Josh as a person.
no. To me, the person who would say that their favorite band is Weezer is like the bad boy, like who's an accountant.
Okay, yeah, I feel that.
He's like, yeah, I really
Accountant or
crushed that
accountant?
portfolio, bro.
I think
And he
John
just puts
likes
on Buddy
Weezer
Holly.
because
There are
he's
some
got
good
a lot
Hey.
Weezer
of-
songs.
Hey.
So
They're wearing Etnies and a Hawk Nelson shirt.
Oh my
Hawk
God, Hawk
Nelson is
Nelson shirt. Oh my God.
Not
Well,
the
on that
Eddies.
note,
But you know what I mean? It's like the white guy who thinks he's super cool, but he's like an accountant.
Yeah.
That's who loves Weezer.
So to end this positively, if you like Weezer, you're cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't-
thanks.
you're cool, dude,
Shout out
man.
for doing my taxes. You know.
Yeah, Weezer's tight as hell, man.
You're a cool dude.
My
Yeah,
name
you know
is-
what?
my
I got
name's
something
Jonas,
really
dude.
good to be positive about.
Oh, end on positive, dude.
The positive is 31 so far has been the best year of my life.
Let's go.
Yeah.
It's been 2 weeks.
And it's been great.
It's been a good 2 weeks.
I've done really cool
What the fuck is she
tattoos.
doing?
Bronx, what are you doing?
Sprinkles.
I've done some super cool tattoos. A lot of really cool clients. Michael and Josh are doing super well.
I used a machine, y'all.
Yep. Ashley finagled us away to get way too close to My Chemical Romance for free,
Thank you, 100 gags.
which is beyond insane. I
I didn't do anything at all.
I got to tattoo Taylor from Let Them Suffer. or left. I always fuck that up. Sorry, anyway,
Left and suffers a different pain.
I know.
You
I
got
know.
a sick neck tat?
I did. I got my neck tattooed. Mitch came with me to Florida. Got to see my friend Ray. Turns out the last time I saw Ray was on my birthday the prior year. Now we have a
Wow.
tradition.
Shout out to Ray Ray.
Yeah, and tomorrow I get to spend the whole day with Ashley. So
Hey.
we're gonna have a good day.
Sounds like a bummer.
So
I'm just
31.
mad because you're not coming. So.
So yeah,
I'm fine.
we also
I'm gonna watch the JJK movie and
Yes.
eat Chipotle.
Oh,
in my
we
so
car.
found
good. Watch
a
it if you
third
haven't.
gay.
we did find a third guy. Well,
Yeah.
but that's a thing. That's a whole other thing. But yeah,
Give him a demonstration.
Next time.
Next time.
so
we're low on time.
Yeah.
But yeah, just 31 so far has been fantastic, and I'm about to embark on this 8-week fitness challenge with Brett.
God.
So I'm excited. The 31 is good.
Awesome.
Hey, Nimbronies, we love you. We appreciate you.
Thanks for stopping
Thanks
by.
for stopping by.
Bye.
Bye.